Since I've got a bunch of different generations of red blonde guppies going, first they kind of look like that when they're first born. They just come out completely blonde. There's not a hint of red. You can see the females cruising through. They can continue to keep the blonde body, but a hint of red on their tails and their dorsal fins. Those two are probably the ones that are actually popping out the babies. This tank isn't necessarily cloudy. It's got a lot of small particles in it that the baby fish actually enjoy browsing on, so we keep that way. And then you can see a lot of fish in this tank, a lot of baby fish, a lot of adults as well, a lot of hiding places for the babies. And gonna feed these guys some frozen Daphnia to keep their bellies full so they don't go after some of the babies here. So yep, babies start out tiny little blonde, clear things like that. And then we move on to the next stage. Pardon my mess, but this is the second stage of the red blonde guppies. This is after about a month to maybe a month and a half of growth, maybe a couple weeks. They stay blonde, they get a little bigger. The males start to get the redder tail earlier, like this might be a male in the future. I've moved most males out of here that I've identified. So these are mostly juveniles. Again, they still like to stay at the top, kind of like they do when they're younger. Kind of got some floating scenario for them. And then you can see a couple on the right here that are starting to get, that's a female for sure. I'll move her out and put her into the bigger tank. But some of these are probably gonna be males because they're getting that red a little early. And then we'll check on the next level, which is actually next door. These are the red juveniles. So not quite fully red blonde guppy yet, but you start to see that the younger ones have the red kind of only going about maybe half to 3/4, and then the adults are really starting to get the red almost over entire thing. So these are probably about a couple of weeks away from being full sized and with the big tails, which then will return back to the main tank to see what those guys look like. So this would be probably about 3-month-old. The main tank. So this is what your guppies start to look like. The red blondes when they're starting to get fully mature. This male is probably one of the better ones I've got. You can see his tail is nice and shooting wide. Got a nice red body and very active. Very thick peduncle to help carry that tail as it gets bigger and bigger. And then we got more over there kind of doing their thing and chasing the female around. So it's kind of the different stages of the red blonde guppy. Notice the female guppies, again, they're staying blonde most of the body, and then the red tail.